Joining me now to discuss that, along with what tech regulation could look like under Trump 2.0, is Bradley Tusk, the managing partner and co-founder of Tusk Venture Partners. Are you Canadian, Bradley? This is strongly worded to your...
No, not at all. They invited me to come speak to the Business Council of Canada last week, and I went up there and kind of explained how I would take on these issues, and I was struck by both how earnest and well-intentioned and nice they were, and at the same time, how all of their ideas to me seemed totally pointless in dealing with someone like Donald Trump.
What were some of those ideas?
We can find a win-win by showing joint, mutual benefit on economic partnership and trade and military, and how he'll listen to reason, and we can get him to see that there's areas of compromise. And, my words to them was like, listen, guys, he cares about being loved. He cares about being admired. He cares about being feared. And there's one of two ways to deal with him. And in reality, pretty much every politician, which is either show them that what you want is in their best interest politically, will help them with their next election and make them look good. Or if you can't do that, show them that what you want, if they don't do it, will hurt them in their next election. So, the first thing that they should try to do is reach a deal with him. And I think that, look, when I look at the map, the one country standing between the United States and Greenland is Canada. I think it's kind of silly that Trump wants to acquire Greenland, and I think most Canadian people probably do too. But you know what? Who cares, right? If the question is 25% tariffs on all Canadian products, or you say, hey, we're on board with Trump's Greenland plan and we're going to help, do that, right? Or milk. Everyone kept telling me when I was there about how there was, the milk guys are so powerful, and Trump is upset because he thinks the milk policies are retaliatory and unfair. I'm just like, well, then deal with the milk guys. Well, we can't because they're very powerful. I said, well, if you don't deal with them, then you're going to have these tariffs. Are you telling me that all 100 of the biggest companies in Canada collectively are not as powerful as the milk guys? No, you just have to make things a little ugly. And so, look, the way we do politics in the U.S., tends to be more aggressive, more in your face, more about grassroots mobilization, more about, reaching the public and persuading them aggressively. And that's not the Canadian way. And by the way, they may be nicer people than we are. But when it comes to winning these knife fights in politics, niceness isn't the path to victory.
Yeah. What's your dog in this fight, Bradley? As the president takes office, we try to figure out, where they're, because three of the people he's appointed to key antitrust positions in are people who have been critical of big tech, for instance. And yet here's everybody. I mean, it's almost like your point, like they know if you want to catch his attention, you got to go right to the, and do something, right? So I'm curious what you think all of this is signaling.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, with Trump, he's only interested in Trump. He's only loyal to Trump. He only believes in Trump. So everything is shifting all the time. And yes, I do like the appointments that they made to the FTC and DOJ. And I think J.D. Vance has some clear views around antitrust. I think the Republican Party on the right might also have some views around that. I think Trump is going to do whatever's best for him. So if he's got the richest men in the world, if it's, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg coming on bended knee and, flattering him and writing checks to his inauguration and everything else, he'll enjoy all of that. If there comes a point where they displease him in any way, he'll cast them out. And so they know that that's their only path to success here. From a broader policy standpoint, I actually would love to see the work that Biden did around big tech antitrust continue, simply because I'm an early stage tech investor, and no one ever comes to me and says, hey, I've got an idea to take on Google or Apple or Microsoft, right? It's just considered absurd because they have so much monopolistic power that there's not even...
Bradley, let me ask you about that for a second, because I've heard a bit of the opposite take on that, which is if you want to back early stage companies who have no real hope of an exit, other than if they reach the scale to compete with Apple and Microsoft, the fact that those big companies can't acquire you takes out a major exit strategy and therefore puts kind of a chill across the early VC space, which right now, as we know, is very quiet. The IPO market also very quiet, and so forth.
Yeah, so I think the chill is the result, I would argue, mainly of the FTC not distinguishing between big tech and everyone else and just saying we generally don't like mergers, we generally don't like economic deals, and that resulted in not just a less of big tech buying companies, but just less M&A across the board and fewer IPOs across the board, and that has resulted in a real lack of activity. Look, ultimately, if you look at the history of this country, every single company that has seemed like inevitable and indomitable, whether it's Standard Oil or IBM or General Electric or whoever it is, over time, everyone grows bureaucratic, everyone grows stagnant, everyone becomes less innovative, and those companies fade away. And my concern for the American economy is if we're not seeding the replacements for those, the big companies today, and all we're doing is teeing up acquisitions, when invariably the people who were at the inauguration yesterday retire and their replacements are not nearly as good, and all of a sudden those companies start lagging. If we don't have other companies ready to step and take their place, it's going to be Chinese companies.
Yeah.
So I think that in order to protect the American economy long term, you have to have viable alternatives.